Hi everybody, welcome to Paper Crafting Thursday at Dandelion Cottage. I'm Leslie Watkins. I have a very fun project that I'd like to do today, and it includes going through all the little bins that are on my desk here and collecting little bits and pieces to make something very fun. I'm also going to be using the Notes of Nature bundle, and this is a stamp set that I've been looking forward to using for quite a while, but with all my travels and everything else going on, I haven't had a chance to do anything with it yet. So I am excited to open it up and start using it. I have a number of these images already mounted. So I've got the leaves, the little spray, the blossom, and some spatter. I'm going to be working very small today, so I'm going to zoom you in. And I have an assortment of scrap paper. This is crumb cake, and I love the neutrals, and I love using crumb cake to work on my prototypes. So the first thing I want to do is to just get started stamping. And here are my blocks. Okay. And make sure if you're on to say hi in the comments so I can see that you're here. For my ink, let's see, we're going to need some Bookmark because I'm going to do some heat embossing. So here's my Bookmark. I've got my embossing buddy, so I just want to give these scraps a quick wipe. And get my tools ready. So here we go. Let's zoom you in. Get you on the screen here. I'm going to begin with my leaf stamp. So that's this one. And maybe you're zoomed in a little too much. Let's just come out a tiny bit. All right. So let's get that on. There's my leaf, and then I'm going to take my spray, but I'm just going to put the ink on the bottom portion here, not the whole thing, because I just want a little bit of this peeking out from the bottom of the leaves. Okay, and then I also want to use my spatter and I need my scrap paper for this. So I want to take the spatter and I just want to come in around the edges. And maybe a little more of that floral stamp on the bottom, like so. Okay, there we go. I'm going to use my tiny blossom stamp, and let's see, I don't need just a a little scrap. This is a great way to use up your scraps, and since I have enough room here, I may as well do 2. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and get my gold powder out. I'm just checking my settings, see if anybody's here yet. And I see Kelly. Good morning, Kelly. What's it doing where you're living, Kelly? Are you seeing signs of spring? It's kind of a rainy day here today, but soon. I see the forsythia has buds, and we've got a number of spring bulbs coming up. We've got flocks of robins, lots of signs of spring. So I'm just sprinkling some of my gold embossing powder onto my design here. Okay, next, I just want to check to see if there's any places I want to clean up a little bit. I'm going to be putting a little gold on the edges as well, but I think I need a better brush. Hold on. I have to get a little more detailed here. So for that, I'm just using an old paintbrush. This is a bristle brush. So it just removes any of that powder where I don't want it to be. It's looking pretty good. And then finally, I'm going to grab my heat-proof tweezers. Love these tweezers. They have this ceramic edge that enables you to hold on to little scraps of paper like this. And if you're interested in seeing the kit that comes with the tray, the tweezers, the brush, and so forth for embossing, I will be posting all of the supplies that I used today so that you can check them out. I'm going to mute you. Okay, I'm back, and let me just move these things out of the way. Okay, now I want to use my corner rounder. on this piece, on the two bottom corners. Alright, so now I've got something that looks like this, but I also want to go around the edges and add a little sparkle. So, for that I'm using my gold ink pad, and I'm just going to put a drop of ink right on top. And then what I can do is I can just kind of, actually I want to spread that out a tiny bit. Just a little. I want it to be right on the surface, but I want a broader area. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tap my piece in here. Alright, so that's going to give me, I don't know if you can see that, but it gives me a little bit of a gold edge. And then if I drag it, if I drag the surface, it'll bring some of that to the front. Okay, so I think you should be able to see something there. So a little bit of sparkle just to neaten up those edges, and by neaten up I don't mean neat. I mean sparkly, just that they're not the plain cardstock. Alright, so there's my little piece. Now I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it. Oh, I have my other piece too. Let me get back to that. So what I want to do with this is I actually want to die cut this out. So for that, I'm going to get the die out. Let me clear the surface a little bit so we can get the cut and emboss machine on board. Alright, and then in the die set that comes with the Notes of Nature set, you get this tiny die. I'm going to get that off of the adhesive and line this up. And because this one is so tiny, I'm going to go ahead and get my tape. There we go. So I have my tape here just to hold that in place because it's really little. And also I'm going to grab my, oops, I have to go get it. Hang on a minute, I have to get my gold paper. Alright, so this is the distressed gold paper, and let's see if I've got a scrap in here. It doesn't look like I have any. Oh, here's some. Oh, that's a deckled edge. That's not good. Let's find something little. Okay, this will work. I'm also going to use this little leaf shape. Get that on there. snip that. All right, I think we're ready to go. Get that right side up. Send them through. We're going to be doing a little bit of everything today. And if you're somebody that likes to use stitching in your projects, I'm even going to be getting this sewing machine out as well. All right, so now before we do anything, I want to be sure that I put these tiny little dies back on here so I don't lose them. Hey Ginger, good to see you. You're not too late, you haven't missed much, just getting set up here. This could be useful. So back to my gold ink, going around the edges of this little piece. Okay. All right, so far this is what I have, and let me explain to you what I have in mind. So just by using some scraps of leftover papers and things, I have something that looks like this. All right, and so it's nice and shiny. And what I'm going to do is, if I go into my scrap bucket here, I have some little pieces of fabric. So here's just a piece of white cotton fabric that I had kicking around from something, probably a journal, I don't know what. I've got some of my crumb cake and gold ribbon. I love this stuff, so I've got lots of scraps of that. Got some jump rings, and I've got these open leaf trinkets. So I've got one out. These are a retired item, but I still have a bunch of them. So I've got that, and that looks nice together with the leaf motif. And let's see what else I have in here. That looks like about it. Okay, so what I've done is I've snipped off a little piece of that cotton and a little piece of the ribbon, and I just have that pinned together. And I've got a large paper clip. So what I want to do is I want to add a little loop on the outer end of my paper clip so that I can add a charm. So to do that, I'm simply going to use my round nose pliers. Round nose pliers. Coffee has not kicked in yet. And just give that a nice little loop. Okay, very simple. And I do want to make sure that that meets, because I don't want the jump ring coming off there. So that looks pretty good. All right. then, before I attach my little dangle here, what I want to do is I want to take my fabric, oops, sorry, off camera. I want to take my fabric and I want to loop that. I'm going to have to trim it down a little bit, I think, because I want to loop it. Let me get my pointer. Along this edge of my paper clip, because this paper clip is going to attach, oh, I'm sorry, I'm telling you the wrong thing. I want to attach it to this long upper edge of my paper clip. That's important because this is going to poke up along the top of my page. I'm just going to pull that through. Get that lined up. All right, so it looks like that. Make sure that's not all curled up. All right, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this over to the machine and I'm just going to stitch that all together. So it's the ribbon, the front of the fabric, and the back. Okay, so I've got that a little bit of a back flap there that's just enough to allow the zigzag strip to go through all the different layers. So I'm going to mute you again. I'll be right back. Put these things down so you have something to look at. Okay, so this will just take a second. Okay, I'm back. And I'm just going to take off some of these messy threads, but not all of them. I'm just going to trim them a little bit. I don't mind the added texture. All right, so that's what this looks like so far. Very cute. All right, and then what I want to do is take my dangle, my charm. I'm going to grab a jump ring. Now, unfortunately, my nails are not very strong, so this may take a minute. Okay, let me see. Let me see if I can do it with the help of some of my pliers here, because I can tell this is going to be tricky. Okay, let me try a different jump ring. Okay, and get those meeting. All right, so there is my little dangle, and I can trim off some of this extra. There we go. So there's my little dangle. Now what I'd like to do is figure out a way that I can use this as a kind of a bookmark. So I think what I want to do is, I wonder if I should, I think I'm going to stitch it again. So let me begin by just adding my additional decoration here. And then I'll show you what it all looks like as it comes together. Okay. Alright, so there's my leaves. And then I want to add my little flower here. Actually, I'm going to put that under the gold leaf. But I'm going to leave a little bit of the die cut to just break up the surface, or I should say the edge, like so. There we go. All right, so there's my tab. I'm going to go back to the machine, and I'm going to stitch that over one more time. So let me just put a couple of drops of glue to hold it in place while I'm stitching. I should have done this before I added the dangle, but I can still make it work. Okay, so there it is. And once again, I'm going to mute the sound, and I'll be right back. Okay, so there's our fancy paperclip bookmark. All right, looks something like this. Let's remove these extra bits. Okay, and let me show you what that would look like on the page. Hey Beverly, what do I have handy here for a journal? Let's see. I'm going to grab my watercolor sketchbook. I was looking for one of my design journals. Let's see. And it's not near me at the moment, so I can't show you that. Or can I? No, I'm just going to go with what's close to hand here. So let's open up the book. Go to our Dandelion page. So there's the dandelion that I painted not dandelion, it's a daffodil that I painted yesterday. And I can take my clip and just place that so that the upper portion will act as a bookmark, okay? And then it has this cute little dangle down below. There we go. All right, so that is my extravagant paper clip that I wanted to share with you today. Give you some ideas on how you could use up some tiny little scraps that you may have kicking around your desk or in a box somewhere. And this is something that is going to be appearing shortly. I can put a few pages together here. So this will be appearing shortly in one of our upcoming journal workshops. So I hope you like that. I hope I gave you some ideas. If you have scraps of fabric and little bits of cardstock that you'd like to create something like this, I'd love to see what you do. So please post on the Something Old, Something New Facebook page. I'm going to take a picture and I'm going to make a post there so that you'll have a place that you can post all the pictures of all the projects that you come up with, all right? So if you're not already a member of the private Something Old, Something New Facebook page, please join us. It's a page that is was created just for stamping up people with lots of objects and items in their stashes, and to provide inspiration and ways to use up those stashes, whether it's new product or old product. And you can just put a comment below so I recognize your name, and then go to the Something Old, Something New, ask to be invited in, and when I see your name there, I will be happy to let you in. So that's all for today. Stay well, stay creative, stay happy, and I will see you next time.